Pirates, curses, gods of the sea, and somehow, still, two dudes arguing over who gets to hold the eyeball. The Pirates of the Caribbean franchise has given us some of the most iconic characters in movie history. But who's the best fighter? Not just the flashiest swordsman, but the deadliest, most effective combatant across every film, every battle, and every piece of expanded lore. Today we're ranking every key fighter from Pirates of the Caribbean, from the lowest deckhands to literal sea gods, to see who truly rules the seven seas. Let's hoist the colors. We're starting off with everyone's favorite comedy duo, Pintle and Rigetti, the Laurel and Hardy of piracy. These guys are less fighters and more professional survivors. They bumble their way through gunfights, sword fights, and ghost fights, somehow always coming out alive. Rigetti might have an enchanted wooden eye made from a piece of cursed Aztec gold, but that doesn't make him a fighter, it makes him a walking target. Pinto's got experience, sure, but his combat style is about as refined as a bar brawl in Tortuga. Still, give them credit. They helped in multiple ship takeovers, fought cursed pirates, and lived to tell the tale. That's more than most. Poor Bootstrap Bill, once a loyal crewmate under Jack Sparrow, then cursed under Davy Jones, and eventually fused into the Flying Dutchman itself. Before the barnacles and the heartbreak, Bootstrap was a solid sailor with decent skill, and his loyalty and durability definitely count for something. But after being bound to the Dutchman, he becomes less of a fighter, more of a tortured soul, literally. You can't really call him dangerous when his biggest battle is against coral growth. Still, his willpower and endurance earn him a place above the comedic relief. Beckett's power isn't in his blade, it's in his pen. As the East India Trading Company's leader, Beckett commands fleets, bends pirates to his will, and literally controls the seas through political and supernatural manipulation. But when it comes to actual combat, let's be honest, if you dropped him into a duel, he lasts about as long as his ship did at the end of At World's End. The man's greatest weapon is paperwork. He's dangerous on a chessboard, not a battlefield. Good old Gibbs, Jack Sparrow's right-hand man and the voice of pirate wisdom. He's no slouch. He's fought his way through sea battles, mutinies, undead hordes, and even British soldiers with little more than grit and rum. But Gibbs is a survivor, not a duelist. His strength lies in experience, loyalty, and knowing when to run. And that's not an insult. If you put Gibbs in a bar fight, he'll win with a mug, a rope, maybe some improvised explosives. But in a one-on-one duel, he's probably taking a nap before it's over. From governor's daughter to pirate queen, Elizabeth's journey is legendary. She goes from fainting at the sight of blood to commanding entire fleets. And along the way, she learns to sword fight, shoot, and outwit some of the most dangerous men on the sea. Her duel of Jack in Deadman's Chest proves that she can hold her own, and by At World's End, she's a full-fledged fighter leading the Brethren court. But while she's a strong leader, a brave fighter, her technique doesn't match the top-tier swordsman. Still, she earns her place among the greats, especially for killing her way to the title of King of the Pirates. Now this is where the real fighters start showing up. Commodore James Norrington was one of the best swordsmen in the British Navy, disciplined, sharp, and technically precise. His duels with Jack Sparrow are some of the most evenly matched in the series, and he's capable of outmaneuvering multiple pirates at once. Even when his life spirals into disgrace, Norrington's skill never fades. His final stand against the crew of the Flying Dutchman shows courage and finesse. The man dies with honor and steel in hand. For ranking pure technique, Norrington's easily top 5. But being a soldier in a world of cursed pirates and gods, well, that caps his ceiling. Blackbeard's daughter, Jack Sparrow's equal, and possibly his better. Angelica learned everything from one of the deadliest pirates alive. It shows. She's fast, manipulative, and unpredictable in combat. Her style mirrors Jack's, opportunistic, deceptive, and full of dirty tricks. What really sets her apart is her cunning. She doesn't just fight, she controls the fight. But as good as she is, her story ends before we ever see her truly unleashed. The pirate lord of the South China Sea, ruthless, honorable, and one of the most respected captains in the Brethren Court. Cao Fang is the definition of controlled fury. His mastery of dual blades and naval strategy make him one of the deadliest humans in the franchise. He's fought cursed pirates, led armadas, and held his own against Jack and Barbossa, two of the cleverest captains in history. In hand-to-hand combat, Cao Fang is vicious, his strikes are efficient and merciless, but his temper sometimes clouds his judgment, and his overconfidence gets him killed. Still, few pirates ever lived or died with more swagger. Now we're getting serious. Captain Hector Barbossa, the undead terror of the seas, the man who mutinied Jack Sparrow and somehow kept winning. Barbossa is everything a pirate should be: cunning, calculated, and completely unkillable, literally for a while. As a fighter, Barbossa isn't an acrobat, but his precision and brutality make up for it. His duel with Jack on the Black Pearl proves his experience. He's tactical, durable, and utterly ruthless. He's also a master tactician, commanding fleets, leading rebellions, and even serving as a privateer for the crown. Barbossa isn't just a pirate, he's a survivor of every kind of death imaginable, and that makes him terrifying. The blacksmith turned pirate lord, Will Turner might be the most technically skilled swordsman in the series. Trained by Norrington's men, raised in combat by sheer survival, and refined through countless duels, Will's swordplay borders on art. He's fought undead pirates, bested Norrington, held his own against Jack, and even fought Davy Jones to a standstill. And by the end of At World's End, he's immortal, the new captain of the Flying Dutchman. Will doesn't just have skill, he has endurance, speed, and precision that rival anyone in the franchise. He's the perfect blend of technique and heart. Now though, let's talk about Chaos Incarnate. Jack Sparrow isn't the best fighter, but he is the best pirate. Everything he does is unpredictable genius. His swordplay mixes agility, distraction, and sheer luck, turning every fight into a performance. He's outdueled Norrington, survived Barbossa, tricked Davy Jones, and escaped death more times than anyone can count. Jack doesn't win fights by overpowering. He wins them by outthinking, outdrinking, and outtalking everyone in the room. If you put Jack in a duel, he might lose, but if you put him in a war, he'll somehow win it while stealing your ship and your hat. The ghost captain of the Silent Mary, Salazar is pure death given form. In life, he was the deadliest pirate hunter in the Spanish Navy, slaughtering entire fleets with precision and rage. In death, he became even worse, a cursed wraith who moves like smoke and kills without hesitation. His combat style is elegant and terrifying, moving through solid objects and attacking before anyone can react. He massacred dozens of pirate crews and nearly ended Jack himself. Only divine magic and bad luck stopped him. Salazar is what happens when vengeance refuses to die. Edward Teach, the most feared name on the Seven Seas. Armed with the Sword of Triton, Blackbeard commands ships, men, and even the supernatural. His mastery over combat, intimidation, and sorcery makes him more than a pirate. He's a warlord. He can control ropes and weapons telekinetically, manipulate ship rigging mid battle, and curses enemies with the flick of his blade. Any man's sheer physical power is terrifying. He fights off multiple opponents, shrugs off wounds, and commands loyalty through fear alone. He's not the fastest or most acrobatic, but his presence dominates every fight. Blackbeard doesn't just win battles, he owns them. The captain of the Flying Dutchman, the sailor's devil, the immortal god of the deep. Davy Jones is what happens when heartbreak turns divine. Cursed to ferry souls across the sea, his body became a weapon, a monstrous fusion of man, squid, and death itself. Jones wields his tentacles like extra limbs, fights with a strength to crush cannons, and moves with impossible speed underwater. He's dueled Jack, Will, and multiple pirate lords, and usually won, but his real power lies in control. Jones commands a ship that can dive, teleport, and regenerate. He can summon the Kraken, a beast capable of leveling fleets in seconds. When you fight Davy Jones, you're not just fighting a man, you're fighting the ocean's wrath made flesh. And finally, the goddess herself. Before there were pirates, before there were seas to sail, there was Calypso, the living embodiment of the ocean, betrayed and bound in mortal form, then unleashed to reclaim her dominion over all waters. When Calypso is freed, the seas explode into chaos, ships shatter, storms rage, the world itself bends to her mood. She doesn't fight with swords or cannon, she fights with nature itself. Every wave, every storm, every life beneath the sea answers to her command. Calypso isn't a fighter in the human sense, she's the concept of power. The rest of this list might rule ships and fleets, she rules reality. From bumbling deckhands to gods of the deep, the world of Pirates of the Caribbean proves that the line between man and legend is as thin as a cutlass blade. Some fight with swords, some with strategy, and some with storms. But in the end, there's only one truth at sea. No matter how good you are, the ocean always wins.